Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I see that more and more people are joining today's interesting event dedicated on knowledge and innovation and transfer of knowledge and innovation, because that's the very important gap that we need to work on. Not reinventing the wheel as we are joking, but sharing how we invented the wheel with as many people as possible. So nice to see you. It's a pleasure to host this event today on the International Day of Women. So before we start with anything else, happy International Day of Women. You know, in services, it's a really interesting situation, and I cannot ignore that with the start of this event, but more than 80% of staff in services is actually women. And when we talk about knowledge, when we talk about management, we always have to remember that there is the gender dimension in that subject, and it's a very important dimension. Also, on the other hand, there is a lot of different situations for women with disabilities when it comes to access of knowledge, when it comes to access of innovation. And our team is working every day with both gender equality and human rights in mind when it comes to tackling all of those challenges. And one step closer to that is also today's event, because our team, full of brave women and brave men, have developed really interesting things that we want to share with you. And I know it's more or less the cherry on top. It's the end, in a way, of a very long process, but it's also the beginning of a very important and long process as well. So thank you very much for joining us today on this important date for this important event. And now I want to hand over to Zoe to say a bit more practical things about today's event. Thank you very much, Zoe, for hosting.
Thank you very much, Maya, for the welcome. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. It's very good to see you all here. So it's Wednesday, it's 2 o'clock. It's time for our Knowledge Café. And today we will introduce our Knowledge Hub that we are launching. We're quite excited to share this with you. So just a few technical details before we get started. This webinar is recorded. There is closed captioning available. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We will address them in the Q&A section at the end of the webinar. And I can already tell you the agenda we have planned. So on the menu of this cafe today, we'll start with the presentation of our e-learning platform with Sasha, who's our e-learning officer, and then we'll move on with presentations from speakers who have worked with us to develop training courses that are hosted on our platform. So first, Andre will talk about his perspective as a teacher who uses the training course on our Knowledge Hub. Then Katri will present how she worked with us to develop a MOOC as part of her project. And finally, Charlie and James will explain to us how they are working with us to transform an in-person training course to an online training course. So that's it. I think I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say. Shall we get started? Sasha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maya and Zoe, for some great introductions. Maya, I honestly had no idea what you were going to say, but I really think that was a really good way into introducing us. So thank you very much. So today I'm here to talk about Knowledge Hub, which is the new e-learning platform. My name is Sasha Leone. I work at EASPD and I'm the Knowledge and E-Learning Officer. Before we start about the Knowledge Hub, I just wanted to talk a little bit about e-learning because it has a terrible reputation. I'm pretty sure most of you, whenever you hear the word, start to fall asleep or think, oh my God, I do not want to have to go do that e-learning. So it's usually because e-learning in the past has been a very, very boring PowerPoint that you have to read through. You could have PowerPoints with horrible voiceovers. I've actually had to do some voiceovers and I've been told I have a very lively voice, so hopefully I won't send you to sleep during my presentation today. There could be terrible art. People can get bored because it's just a recording of a classroom. It could just be like reading a book. You could get lost when you're working through it. There's terrible, out-of-date information. It can be distracting, or there's no way to pause a course when you come away from it. So those are some of the main reasons that people hate e-learning. But what I want to do today, and it's a big task, so I don't expect you all to fall in love with it, but I just want to tell you some interesting facts so you understand how e-learning can be interesting and why it is so important, especially right now. So, fact number one, e-learning is the fastest growing market in the education industry. So since the year 2000, it has grown 900%. That is a lot. And you would have noticed most of that was probably in the past 2 years when it came to COVID, the pandemic, everybody having to learn at home. If you have children, children had to learn at home instead of going to school. You had to do corporate e-learning online. So probably most of that is just from the past few years. Learning retention rates increase. I don't know how all of you are when you are in a face-to-face classroom. Even the best well-intentioned people start daydreaming, drifting off, doodling, desperate to go have a coffee break or cigarette break, and they only take in 8 to 10%. But through e-learning, they take in between 25 and 60%. And mostly that's because you get to do it when you want to do it, you can have a break. By 2025, so what, that's only 2-3 years away, the massive open online course, MOOC, which is another way of saying e-learning, the market could be worth 25 billion. So because of that, studying has become seamless. Students can access learning materials from any class of their choice, interact with any type of expert and other students, all for free most of the time, especially our courses are for free. And I just wanted to put in perspective how big this is, 25 billion. So with that much money, you could stop deforestation of the Amazon within 10 years. You could relieve almost all world hunger for a year, or you could provide clean drinking water for the entire planet for 3 years. So I just wanted to put into perspective how big this industry is, and it is becoming. E-learning is eco-friendly. So statistics from some universities reveal that producing and providing e-learning courses is eco-friendly. It produces 85% less CO2. Can you imagine how big that is with, eco problems, global warming? I mean, we're seeing it right now with snowing in March. It's happening right now. And this type of learning can reduce those issues. And I think that's probably one of the biggest sellers at the moment. Also, learning with e-learning programs is faster than traditional learning. So in the workplace, it's estimated that only 1% of the work week is dedicated to training and development. And with the industry that we all work in, social services, working in the disability sector, you need to be learning all the time, and only having 1% of that time to be learning is why everything is falling behind. Why people are becoming less enthused about their jobs, because they need to be able to learn more to do it. With e-learning, it can be completed about 40 to 60% less time than traditional learning. It also provides employees more fun, convenient and engaging ways to learn. And convenient, I mean, I have done some e-learning when I've been in the bath, when I'm laying in my bed, anywhere, all the time. And it just means that people can fit it into their daily lives a lot better. Okay, I actually forgot I put this slide in, but there is a reason. So when people think, I'm going to make an e-learning course, but nobody will use it, people might think, oh, I won't find a course based on what I want to look for. I just wanted to use this as an example from a particular site where you can do an e-learning course based on anything, apparently. For example, 540 people have enrolled in unicorns and unicorn energy diploma, and they've actually paid £127 for it. People have paid to enroll onto this course, and that is insane. So next time you think that you want to create a course that might be boring, there is going to be someone out there that is going to do it. Okay, so don't be too scared of it. Also, if anybody is interested in these courses, I can send you the link afterwards. So now that e-learning is in context, and hopefully you understand the importance of it, why it's more important to EASPD, I can start talking about the Knowledge Hub. So Knowledge Hub, I'm going to briefly touch on what is it, what is available, and how to use it. And we will send you this presentation afterwards as well, in case you want to look up anything again and link to the Knowledge Hub. So what is it? The Knowledge Hub is the new and improved digital platform for learning. So not just e-learning, but learning in general, where we want to put the learners first. The Hub allows you to access MOOCs and a wide variety of other useful resources focused on the disability sector. So like I said, you can find information about anything anywhere, but here particularly, we want to focus on what we know. So, ta-da! I don't know if anyone's seen this yet. This is the homepage of the Knowledge Hub. I think it looks pretty stylish, pretty clean, pretty easy to use. We can't take all the credit. We actually stole the design from the EASPD website that's recently launched. So those people should get some of the credit as well, why it looks so good. What is available on the Knowledge Hub? So we've already discussed e-learning, but we also have resources such as websites, useful tools you can use within your work or to send to people, research and policy papers, a lot of them, some of our fantastic teams have worked on here, and project information, and many more things. So on the website, like I said, we want to make it easy to use. When you come onto this page, we have an e-learning spotlight where we put the 3 most recent or most talked about courses on the front page. So you can see straight away what is new, what you can do as soon as you log in. You can also go and see a list of all of our courses. We have about 10 around about now, and we have a few more coming over the next year. So I'm sure there'll be something for you there that is useful. Similar to the spotlight for e-learning, we have it for the e-library. So some of our more recent or useful resources, or any we just really want to show off, will be on this front page. So you don't always have to look at all of our resources. You can just see what's brand new. You can also go to the library, the list of all of our resources, and there's a little filter in the top left where you can filter by, buzzwords or the name or anything like that to help you find what you want to find. This is what it looks like when you see a resource. So we try to make it as easy to use as possible. You just have titles, authors, years, a summary, and a link. And we try to make sure we have some nice pictures to go along with it as well. So you're actually happy when you go into it rather than just reading a lot of writing. So how do you use it? When creating EASPD's digital learning platform, we wanted to make it easy to use and as accessible as possible. Considering we work in the disability sector, we have to make sure we cater to as many people as possible so that they can have access to the knowledge. Not everyone is an IT expert, which we've seen just starting this Zoom meeting today. I think every single one of us has had some sort of problem. So, it's not just you, it's all of us. And no one has time to scroll through page after page after page trying to find what they're looking for. We want the Knowledge Hub to work for you. We want you to just be able to go onto it, click it, find what you need and be done. So when you first go onto the Knowledge Hub, you have this opening page. I thought it was quite striking. We're using our colors. All you have to do is log in or create an account if you don't have one. Once you log in, you have access to the home page where I showed you the spotlight. You have a dashboard, which just shows you what you've recently been on. My courses, I think this is pretty cool. So it shows you all the courses you've actually enrolled in, and it shows you how much you've completed it. Not a lot of sites will do that, but I think this is really useful because you can then figure out how much more you have to do. You can fit it into your working day or, on your weekend if you're that dedicated, and it'll make you feel good when you see it's getting to 100%. We also have the e-learning and e-library pages and frequently asked questions for those obvious questions like, why can't I log in? What languages are available? You should be able to find the answers there. Before I move on to the next slide, I just want you to look at the little green man in the bottom right-hand corner. He's popped up on quite a lot of the pictures I've shown you today. He'll be on every single page that you go on the Knowledge Hub. There he is. Look at him, all shiny and new and amazing. My colleagues reminded me that this is actually the background from the Teletubbies show. So it was supposed to be this magical, amazing reveal, but it's actually the Teletubbies, but I still think it works. So enjoy. And what this does, this is the accessibility menu. So this is great, not just for people with disabilities, but for anyone. Absolutely anyone. You can change the contrast. You can make the text bigger. You can have dyslexia-friendly font. When you scroll down further, you can change all the colors. You can change it to whatever you need. It works on laptops, tablets, phones. So it's completely available for anyone to use how they want to use, which, you know, it's accessible as we can make it. That is all I have to say for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope some of you are going to log on to the Knowledge Hub and find it useful in future for yourselves or for colleagues, friends, anyone you think might find it useful. And you can reach out to me or answer questions at the end of this presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sasha. I think it was a great introduction and launch of our brand new Knowledge Hub. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation. As Sasha was saying, you're of course welcome to ask questions in our Q&A session we'll have later towards the end of the webinar. Just an indication, we shared the link to the Knowledge Hub in the chat, so you can already go and register, and everything is accessible for free to anyone, so anyone can access it. Now let's move on to Andrei's presentation, and let's jump to Slovakia to get your perspective. Andrei, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And as soon as you stop sharing, I will start to share my presentation. Thank you. Share. Okay. So good afternoon. I'm very glad that I could participate today on this meeting and present our online course called IMAS2 that you can see also on one of the slides in the previous presentation, and its implementation to our curricula at our university. So my name is Andrej Botek. I'm from Trnava University in Trnava in Slovakia, Department of Social Work. And we've been one of the partners that been working on development of this online course, which is called IMAS2. What is it? IMAS2 is a short form for improving assistance in inclusive education settings that was following the IMAS1, focused on inclusive competencies of learning and support assistance at the especially elementary schools. We've been one of the partners from 5 countries, which were Austria, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Portugal, and United Kingdom, and as well EASPD, who did also a great job in preparing of this course. So as I already mentioned, the main goal was to prepare an online course for learning and support assistance that will develop and strengthen their inclusive competencies. Our course consists of 5 web-based knowledge boxes on 5 different topics in field of education, inclusive education of children with special needs. And all these knowledge boxes include videos, PowerPoint presentation, quizzes, etc. That should enable and easy and quick way for learning and support assistance to improve their knowledge and enhance the inclusive competencies for their work. After we finish this project, we find out that it will be interesting to include this online platform, this online training, also for our students, social work students, and we started to implement it to our curricula. The 5 boxes that were created within our project was rights, of disabled children in education, like a general introduction to the topic, and then 4 knowledge boxes that were focused on. 1 box on emotions and behavior, so mostly for children with emotional and behavioral problems. Another box for interaction and communication, so focus on children with communication problems, like autism and some other particularities. Another one was for cognition and learning, and the last one for physical and sensory impairment. As we don't have so much time, I hope that you will take a look on it on the EASPD platform. So these 5 boxes was a major part of our online training in the inclusive education subject. We have, after the first year of trying it fully as an online course, we also get some feedbacks that I would like to share from our students. First, maybe I said that there were 2 possibilities how to use our online course. The first one was that the students can use the original video presentation made in English and use a scenario that is available in all languages of the partner countries. So Bulgarian, Portuguese, English, German, and Slovak. Or they could do it that they can go through the presentation in the language, available languages, which were the languages of the partner countries. And the feedbacks, some students choose the first possibility, some of them the second one, and that's why we will have also some different feedbacks. So this is how it looks on the first page. So you can, when you enter already one of the knowledge boxes, you have short introduction of the lecturer, and here you can choose this one. Here you can choose to start the video presentations in English, or you can go to the language that you want to pass the course at, so choose one of the languages. What were the feedbacks? There were both positive and negative or challenging feedbacks from the students. What was one of the major feedbacks, positive feedbacks, was that the students say that they can manage the time of their learning. It was already mentioned, so they can use where they will go to the course, how much they will do in that particular day, etc. Another positive was that there was a lot of materials for studying, and they can choose from the different huge variety of studying materials if they want to dive a bit deeper to a particular topic. They also feel very positively the structure of the course, and a lot of new information for them. Also, what was evaluated very positively was a good and wide variety of examples in different forms: video form, pictures, animation, etc. And that led to the last one. It was easy to understand. There were also some negatives or challenges that our students posted. One was that, and that appears more times, was that they were missing the possibility to ask the question. As you can see, the second one, there was also in the positives, but it was also mentioned in the negative. There was too many materials to study, and for some, they perceive it as something what was making it more difficult for them. Then they, in more feedbacks, it appears that they would prefer a combined form of teaching, and they will find it more beneficial. The next one was very often connected with the first one, that as they have no possibility to ask the question, sometimes it took them longer time to understand a particular topic. So if they got stuck, they find it more difficult to continue, and they find out it will be much easier for them if they can immediately contact the lecturer and ask the question. There were also some feedbacks on the technical part, which I have to say was connected to the change of the platform and the system. So I think it was really one-time problem that appears at the time, and so it's already solved. For those who decide that they will go the way using the English original English or video presentation in English language and use the scenario, especially for those whose English competencies were maybe lower, so they prefer to have it in Slovak, so see the presentation in English and read the scenario. Some of them print the pages. What I have to say that I stress at the beginning that they can use it on different platforms, so maybe do it on a computer and have the scenario on a tablet. It will be more easier, but this is the thing we will try to find out how to work it. So just to conclude, what we find out as very important, maybe to find the right combination of online training and a room for face-to-face part where they can set the questions and so on. But as a whole, I have to say that whole the course was evaluated mostly positively, and as our first online course, full online course, I think the feedback was very, very positive. So that's from my side, just to keep the time. And I hope I can make it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrei, for a nice presentation. We're very happy to see that you and your students are using this course and that you're finding it interesting and useful. I think this is a great example for our participants today to understand how the Knowledge Hub can work and get the first insight of how we can use it as a teacher or a student. So it is true that the courses we have and that for now hosting on the Knowledge Hub have been developed as part of projects we're collaborating in. And so I'm turning to Katri, our next speaker, who is going to introduce how she has worked with EASPD to develop a massive open online course as part of a project on inclusive education. Katri, the floor is yours. Katri, I think we cannot hear you.
See, I told you, everybody has tech issues.
Yeah,
Everybody, no matter how prepared.
It's now working. Yes, good, good. So thank you, Zoe, and can you just please share the slides? Yes, thank you. So now you can see me and you can hear me, so everything is fine. It's always like this. But good afternoon for everyone. I'm Katri Hänninen from KVPS from Finland, the northern part of Europe, and I'm working as a development manager in KVPS, the Service Foundation for People with an Intellectual Disability. It's an NGO in Finland, and I have been involved in the project, in the Erasmus Plus founded project, the Beyond, or the Inclusive Education and Beyond. And in that project, we made a MOOC with the big support of EASPD. And that's what I'm talking about. I think the process can have been quite the same than the process with the previous speaker, but I will explain you about the process, not the training course. So maybe you can learn something new from this. Hope so. So in the beginning, I have to say that that developing an online course, it's not a quick process and not always an easy process, but I really think that it's really worth of it. But it have to keep in mind that you really have to concentrate and to understand that it's really different than the training course where you can go to learn to teach face to face. It's quite a big difference between that kind of trainings. But when it's planned carefully and when the whole project team makes it together, it's really a good process, and also you can learn a lot about making the training course online. So I really think that it's a good way to do. I don't know if you can see, it's quite little the text. I can see it now, but I hope you can follow the process. But in the beginning, it's really important to have the discussion, to have the clear vision about the aim of the online course, and also about the target group, that who is going to be the audience, who are going to be the participants, so that it's really clear for all the people who are involved in this process, that everyone has the same idea of the aim of the course. And when we are talking about the MOOC, quite a big online course, it may be good also to split it in the different kind of modules, that it was also in the previous course, so that it's easier to get the clear structure for the whole training. I think that we had 5 modules also, if I don't remember. It's quite normal, especially in our Erasmus Plus projects, that there's many partners from the different countries. So it's also quite important that in the beginning we share the tasks quite carefully, and so that everyone can use the specific expertise that they have, and so that they can be also involved in this kind of planning, that what they would to give to the training course. And it's also really important that it's clear from the beginning that what's the tasks, what's the module that everyone takes care of, so that it really becomes to be a good the whole training course, so that it's not so separate modules. So a lot of common discussion is needed. That's what I think that I remember that we did that a lot. We had quite a long discussions about it, but I think that it was really important. It's also important to think carefully where to start, so that when you begin as a participant of the training course, when you're beginning and when you move from the module to the other, that you can have all the information, all the knowledge that is needed to step to the next module. So I think, again, the structure is really important. And also to make sure that there's many kind of activities, different kind of activities for the participants. As we heard last time, that it can be quite boring if there's only videos, or only reading, or only slideshows, or only like that. There has to be many different kind of ways to learn, and also to take care that people can get the information and get the knowledge, because there isn't a teacher that you can ask about. And the piloting is a really important part of the training course, so that you can get the evaluation, and you can really see that it works, that after going through the whole training course, you can learn the things that is the aim of the course. So it's really important, and also to have time after the evaluation to adapt the training if it's needed, because when you are planning it, you may not see all the things that has to be changed. So there has to be time also after the piloting. From the EASPD, we got a lot of help, or actually it was led by EASPD, the loading the online course into the MOOC, into the platform, and I think it was really a big job also. But before the loading, it was also really important that everyone understands what the idea of the online course, so that all the materials are able to be in the MOOC, in the platform. So it was really really good also to test also all the tools. For example, we had some Menti and some Kahoot and things like that. So it was really important that we tested them, and then we decided that okay, we can use that kind of tools in the training course. In our project, we also translated in 5 different languages, and also the translation process was quite a big process. And I think that the one that we learned is that it has to be also really careful with the translations, so that all the languages and all the sentences are in the right places. We had quite many videos, for example, and it was quite a difficult process to make sure that it's really the line, that what they say in English, for example, in Finnish, it's the right line, because there was quite rare languages like ours. So for the person who loads them into the platform, it's not so easy, because you can't handle all the languages that are used. So it's really also a big job, but I think it's really important, so that we can use it. If it's only in English, it's only for the persons who really can use that language, and it's really a different way. After loading the materials into the MOOC, I think also important is the testing part, and also that it's tested all the languages, not only like you like look overall that everything looks okay, but it really has to be someone who goes through the training course. And we used our colleagues, because we wanted also that there's someone who hasn't been involved in the process, so that they really find all the mistakes, all the errors, and there was also some of them that we had to correct. But I think when it will be there quite many years, it's really important that you go through it and take care that everything is right. I think that the best thing in that kind of MOOC and in the Knowledge Hub is that it's really sustainable, and because it's led by the EASPD, you don't need to take care that if it's hidden in some project's webpage or something like that, because it stays in the EASPD's webpage and it can be found after years, let's say. So I don't know how long time they will be there, but anyway, it's really a good way of making sure that it will be there a long time and many people can find it. And also when we're talking about the marketing, it's easier when it goes for all the EASPD members, and of course all the other European people who are interested in the courses. So I think it's really easy to market it, and you can market all the languages at the same time. And in Finland, of course, we can just put the link for the Finnish version, and people can find it easily. So I think it's really a good platform for this. And I have been involved in quite many Erasmus Plus founded projects, and I think that this is one of the best ways really to make sure that everything that we do in 3 years will stay in there, and will be also accessible for as many people as we wish. So that's about the process that we had in the Beyond project. And if you have some questions, you maybe can ask them afterwards, after the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katri. What a nice presentation. I think it's very interesting to see the work you've done to develop this MOOC. I believe we tend to forget how long of a job it is to come up and create such a MOOC. I think we tend to believe that the testing period isn't very long, while it's probably the most important phase of the MOOC, because we have to ensure it's actually everything is working technically, the content, everything is working for everyone, and the translation as well. So thank you for this presentation. I think it gives our participants a good insight into how to create a MOOC. So now we've discussed how to create an online training course from scratch. But how about when we have to adapt an in-person training course to an online format? There is another challenge there. So now I'm turning to James and Shirley, who will tell us how they're working on this with us to adapt the European Care Certificate course into a MOOC. James, Shirley, the floor is yours.
Can you see my screen?
All good. Thank you, James.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Churchill from Social Care Training Limited. And just a little introduction to explain to people who don't know what the European Care Certificate is. It's a knowledge-based award, and it's aimed at entry-level staff, people who are new to the sector, and it's been formally approved at level 3 on the EQF. And it's a way in which workers can show that they have the basic knowledge to work safely in the care sector. So the ECC is a common foundation of knowledge to deliver care safely in all the services in all the countries, and it's based on the values of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And we have a set of learning outcomes grouped into 8 areas, and you can see them all here. So this is highly structured. As a directly taught course, you go through this a sector at a time, and one of the challenges is to get this converted into a MOOC. And the other challenge is to make sure that you've covered everything, because at the end of the course of study, you can take the ECC exam in order to get the certificate. And as you can see, that the pass mark is quite high. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you've got to get 70 plus 70 in order to pass. And it is possible, if you are incredibly stupid, to get minus 96 if you've answered all 96 correct questions wrongly. So you can see that's quite a high pass mark, and that's simply because it's such a basic set of knowledge that if you don't know it, you're really not safe to be employed in the sector. Brussels, EASPD in Brussels has a central register of everyone who's sat the exam and got the certificates, and this is now over 8,500 people. The exam's available in many languages, and when it goes into being a MOOC, it also needs to be available in the same number of languages. There's a small charge for taking the exam, but doing it online is far, far cheaper than doing it on a taught course with all the associated costs. So now I'm going to hand over to Shirley, who's going to talk about how we have been trying to take this highly structured course and turn it into a MOOC.
Hi, I'm Shirley Potter, and I've been working developing the training across a number of projects and for SCT. And when we were faced with changing this course, which was a detailed written training course that was in a universal format initially to deliver across all different countries, covering all of the 8 learning outcomes, it seemed quite daunting initially. But, you know, when you start to look at it, the learning outcomes remain the same. So we have to find different ways to make sure that we cover all the learning outcomes. And there are ways to consider doing that. But the things that you have to think about are making sure that you meet all the different learning styles of the people who are going to be accessing the course. It's easy to do that as a delivered course because you're going to deliver in a variety of ways. It'll be PowerPoint, it'll be group work, working in pairs, people having to work on their own. You'll have chatting, flip charts, all sorts of different ways that you can ensure that each individual learning style is met. Now, you need to then think of how you're going to do that to a person who's just sat in front of a computer. And the ways we tried to do that, or we've been trying to do that, are to make sure that we do a mix of presentation, video, talking heads, activities and reflection activities, as well as research-based activities, and then having quizzes and question and answers. And all of these things are really aimed to keep to meet those different learning styles. And as well as that, you have to consider how you're going to meet the learner or keep the learner's attention. We all know that when you're delivering a course, it's very easy to see when people are losing interest. And we, as experienced trainers, you develop different ways to change people's focus and attention. It might be walking around the room or changing your position, changing part of your delivery, etc. But you can't do that online. So you have to do that with the materials. And we've worked to, like I say, mix up the different materials and make sure that things like videos are very short and compact, so that people aren't, I suppose, bored and disinterested. And we do have the presentations, but we try and include infographics, as well as things like the talking heads, and then interjecting with activities for the individual to work on and think about. And I think that, you know, that really goes back to, again, meeting all those different learning styles, the visual, the audio, the kinetic, etc. And because this is a comprehensive course and there's an exam at the end of it, we have to make sure that we don't miss anything out. And that's a harder one, because you really have to look at those learning outcomes and make sure that you cover every part of them, because you can't, if you were delivering a course and you'd miss something out, you could easily go back to something at the end or as you're progressing through the course. So you have to be sure you cover everything. And with a course like this that has assessment towards the, well, at the end, you can actually sit the ECC exam, then you need to be considering that as you're taking people through the course, and making sure that they have got that knowledge and understanding in readiness for when they go and sit the exam. So you need to think of different ways of doing that. When you're delivering the course, you will be asking questions, asking for feedback, you would be observing, you'd be walking around the room and listening to what's going on. None of those things are there. So you need to do it by introducing some of the things in the activities or exercises, such as quizzes, having activities where and things where they might have to choose the right answer out of a selection of things. And I think one of the other things that we've used, because this is health and social care based and it's about people in the workplace, I think it's really important to take it back to the workplace for them. When you're delivering training, you would use anecdotes and your experience, but again, it's difficult to do that when you're just, you know, it's on a screen in front of people. So we use scenarios where we give people situations to think about and look at how they would deal with it using the knowledge, etc., that they've gained. And then the other thing that we've tried to do in preparation for that formal assessment and having to sit the ECC exam is offer people some practice questions as well. And that way they know the style of question that's coming, because different exams are set in different ways. And although the ECC is a multi-choice exam, the questions are helping people to think carefully about their approach to things, and sometimes people need practice with that. So I think in general, if you've got a good course that's written already, a delivered course, it is possible to, as long as you consider all of these areas that I've listed, that you can then make that into a really nice online course. That's it.
Thank you, Charlie. I think it was interesting to understand what considerations we have to keep in mind when we adapt an in-person training course to an online course. Thank you, James, as well, for presenting the ECC. I believe we tend to forget that when we adapt an in-person training course to an online format, we have to keep in mind the engagement of the participants. So it's quite important to keep their engagement and make sure they are still really focused on the course. So it's quite a hard task to ensure this, but we have some good tools to make it happen. Thank you very much to all the speakers for the presentations. I would like now to open the floor for questions. Should anyone have questions, feel free to raise your hands or just talk. I'm scrolling through my screen and there's many faces and names, so I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Any question, anyone? So far, no. I actually had a question. Okay, Renaud.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Renaud Schor. I work at EASPD with my colleagues Sasha and Zoe, and I have a question for them. Thanks to the great presentations of the speakers, I think that we have a good idea of how the Knowledge Hub can be used for e-learning, which is very important for us, developing MOOCs, converting trainings into MOOCs, all of that. The other aspect of the hub that is very important for us is the e-library. And one aspect that maybe some of our partners, members would like to hear about is how the library can be useful to improve the sustainability and the visibility of the outputs of our projects. What happens a lot is that we have a European project, we receive funding for the website for a couple of years, for instance, and then after that, all of the outputs that we have worked really hard to develop and are no longer accessible to the target groups. So can the Knowledge Hub help with that? And if yes, how? Thanks.
Yes, yes, we can, is the simple answer. So like you said, the sustainability of a lot of our projects, a lot of material. I'm hoping that the Knowledge Hub is around for a long, long time, hopefully longer than I am, unless technology takes over the world. You never know. But yes, the idea is that a lot of the research papers, a lot of useful information that we get in-house at EASPD from all of our members across Europe and across the world, if it's useful and they want people to share it, we want to be able to put it into our library so that anyone can access it. And we hope to keep it there. When we moved over from the old site to the new site, we did go through a purge where we did get rid of a lot of information from pre-2010, but that's because the laws have changed a lot. A lot has changed in the world since then. So if the information is no longer viable, we'll either get rid of it or update it, work with people to update it so we can try and keep it. But yes, the idea is it's sustainable for any kind of information, and you should be able to find something on what you want to look for. I hope that kind of answers your question.
Thank you, Sasha and Renaud. Great question and great answer. I see we have a question in the chat from Bianca, who's asking if there are any e-learning resources and courses that are available for persons with disabilities as service users to understand EU legislation and rights. So we do have a course available at the moment to understand a bit better the disability sector at EU level. However, it's not accessible for persons with intellectual disabilities because unfortunately the website as we have at the moment, we have to log in to access it, and we understand it's a barrier for people with intellectual disabilities to access. So we have this in mind. And so the courses we have at the moment were developed as part of projects in which we worked with service providers. So actually the trainings available now are mostly addressed to service providers and professionals and students, but not yet addressed to persons with intellectual disability. You're welcome. Sasha? James? James, you wanted to come in?
Oh, yes, sorry, I didn't hear you say James. I just wanted to say to everyone that one of the great things about this Knowledge Hub is it's free. You're getting all this information in all those different languages, we hope. I mean, obviously, translation is going to be the biggest challenge for everybody. But once you've got it, it's all free and for all the workers all over Europe. So it's going to be a fantastic resource. And but when you have people whose budgets are stretched as they are at the moment, why would you not use it? So it's going to be a really fantastic resource for every employer across Europe in the social care sector.
Thank you, James. Indeed, we're quite happy to see that many people can seize this opportunity to learn, but we also see it as a collaborative tool. It's also a great way for people to share their knowledge. So thank you. Any other question? Fabrizio?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Well, really very interesting, and I'm sure it is important and fundamental for all of us as service providers. But again, I'm also a bit afraid about the language, as already maybe pointed out by Bianca. Not for the general items, but if we go a bit deeper into legislation, I think that could be very difficult, because you have to find somebody that translates perfectly the legislation with the meaning and sometimes the philosophy of the country that launched that legislation. So I think we have to find out a balance that the kind of legislation is easy and useful for all of us. And of course, the European legislation can be that, but still, that I think it's a little bit the gap. Otherwise, for the remaining part, yes, it is very interesting. Both the MOOC and both the ECC that we already know quite good things about them. So I think that we have to take care of a bit of that way, or we put the legislation exactly as it is in the language of the country. We leave it there because it can be useful more for the person of that country. Because if we go into translation and so on, I think it could be a nightmare. That's just an idea of how I have to translate sometimes legislation for my people also in my center, from English to Italian or whatever. It can be a bit difficult, but the contrary, I think much more. Thank you. And thank you anyhow for the presentations. Really interesting, and I hope to receive the slides, because it's good to think in which way we can manage something in our countries already. Thanks a lot for that. Thank you.
Can I respond to that and agree really how important it is that the translation is done by people who understand the sector. I did a project in Russia, and prior to going, the translation had been done by somebody from industry, from a metal industry of some description. And so the translation, we found there were some gaps where they really hadn't understood the sector, so the translation wasn't quite right. Whereas if they'd have understood health and social care, then I think the translations would have been better. So I think, especially with legislation, yeah, that is important, but just thought that was interesting.
Thank you, Shirley and Fabrizio. These are very good comments. I see, Sasha, that you raised your hand.
Is it? No, I totally agree. Yes, I perfectly understand. Just a little example. In this period, I'm translating from English to Italian items on work for the project we are running together with EASPD as well. And the translation has been done first from people from another country in Italian, and now I have to check. And believe me, sometimes absolutely all the respect of the people who did that work, but sometimes also in the slang. For instance, the machine jam with paper, it has been translated as marmalade, exactly, and not as the fact as what I see. Of course, James laughing quite a lot, because you can imagine I found this marmalade into the photocopy machine or something like that. So it can be really very difficult, but also very funny. So again, we have to take care, otherwise it becomes something that it doesn't have no more the meaning that it should have. That's it. And so I agree with what Shirley pointed out just a minute ago. Thank you again.
Thank you, Fabrizio. That's a funny and actually very good point, indeed. Sasha, I see you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that the Knowledge Hub is mainly available in English at the moment. That's because it took us so long to change it from the old one. And I don't know if any of you used the old one, but it was interesting to navigate, interesting to use. So during the streamline process, we wanted to make sure it was perfect to use in English. And now the next step of our evolution is to start changing as much as we can into different languages. So we have some courses in different languages. And luckily, a lot of the partners and members we work with volunteer their lives to help us translate. And obviously, a lot of these partners work in the sector. So there's less, jam, marmalade issues than you would think. But at the same time, we have quite a lot of materials, so it can take a long time to translate. So you also have to be willing to invest in professional translators as well. So right now, Knowledge Hub is available in English. We have some courses and resources available in different languages, and our main aim for the future is to, have as many fluent languages as we can on there. And I was also trying to find a way to bring in this bit of information, and it's a bit odd, but I'm trying to make it work. For the future, I will no longer be working on the Knowledge Hub and EASPD. So I want to introduce our new Knowledge and e-learning officer. I asked her permission before, so she shouldn't be too shocked. So I just wanted to introduce Callie-Anne, who will be taking over when I leave at the end of March. So I'm not sure if you want to say anything, Callie.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much to Sasha and Zoe and all the other contributors for such an interesting and informative hour. I've only been in the job 5 days, so it was definitely as helpful to me as it was everyone else. But yeah, my name is Callie-Anne. As Sasha said, my background is in services for the deaf community and vocational education and training. And now I'll be taking over from Sasha's very capable hands, including the Knowledge Hub as well. So I'm very looking forward to working with some of you and getting to know some of you. And yeah, just looking forward to the whole experience. And if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out, because I'm officially, I think, in charge of the Knowledge Hub email now as well. So yeah, any questions, feel free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Callie. It's great to have you, and it's sad to see Sasha leave, but such is life. So if there's no more questions, I would like to thank everyone for your participation. I would really like to thank speakers for your contribution. I think it's been a great way for us to launch the Knowledge Hub, and we look forward to having a great contribution, collaboration with you in the future. I think it's quite an amazing tool that we have here, and we need to really hold on to it and feed it with great resources and trainings and make the most of it. So yes, I hope you will all have a lovely afternoon, and thank you again very much for being here, and have a nice day. Goodbye, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Nice going. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Have a
Bye-bye.
nice day.